my check. We getting in motion. We getting the stream going. Letting you guys come a little bit. Getting a little comfortable. Very short stream today. Just want to do a recap for this Ron Ennis and Bam Rodriguez card. We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it. We gotta debate. We gotta disagree. We gotta agree. We gotta get a little smoke. Just a little smoke on the topic. Right before is Keyshawn Davis ready? Is there a new fighter that just joined the league on the top of the league? I had to pick a classic to start this stream off. This music. This might be dating myself on age, but that was a performance last night. Let me say that. All right. Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. Just came back from Top Rank out in Norfolk. I have to say, man, he said no to Nicholas Walters. He said no to that guy. He said no to this guy. Give me Gustavo Lemos. He said, "Give me Gustavo Lemos." That's what Keyshawn Davis did. Then Gustavo Lemos comes in, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not even 6, over 6 pounds. Over 6 pounds. What up, 8 Count Boxing TV? What up, Shocky Bean It? We gonna talk. Gustavo Lemos. Like I said, I just came back from Norfolk a few hours ago. Right? I was in the building. He said no to Nicholas Walters. He said no to this guy. I don't want a traditional homecoming fight where I just beat somebody up. It's my first main event, first homecoming. The dude that fought Richardson Hitchens for the title eliminator spot? Yeah, give me him. Give me Gustavo Lemos. Everyone was like, whoa. Everybody was like, whoa. Hold on, man. Hold on. Comes in over 6 pounds. Over 6 pounds. I can't even think of the last time a fight went through with an opponent went over 6 pounds. That's typically a cancellation, right? We cancel those. We cancel those. People are looking at the management of Keyshawn, the trainers of Keyshawn, like, I don't know, right? Then we find out the day of, people rehydrate. They rehydrate, right? We rehydrated over 20 pounds. Okay. The stakes are getting higher and higher and higher. What's he gonna do? Is Keyshawn gonna look bad? Is Keyshawn gonna look like this? Is Keyshawn gonna struggle? Is he gonna just win? But just it's just a dog fight. He wins, shows levels, but he's a dog fight. Maybe hit him with a 1-2, 1-2 rounds. It was over in 2 rounds. 10,000 people showed up. 10,000 people showed up. And then right after that, after a week of media and stress and all those type of things, he dares to say, knock, knock, Gervonta Davis. Now, I'll say this right away, and I'm going to shout everyone out in the chat, and we're going to get straight into it. Shocky Bean It, DB, Good Stuff 101, IVS, Napa 1M, BT Top Tier, Voria, King Jones. What's up? Appreciate you guys coming in early. We're just doing a quick early stream because we know we got Jerron Ennis and Bam Rodriguez fighting tonight. So I'm not really trying to take away your time. We're going to do a round by round for that too. So I just had to just do this one before we move on to a whole new card. He said, knock, knock, Gervonta Davis. Now, I'm pretty sure that everyone in the chat's impressed with that performance last night, right? We don't have to disagree. We don't really have to debate too much. I know there's going to be a couple people that's going to have their opinion. That's cool. You're entitled to it, right? My opinion, he did his thing on the stage where it mattered. Everyone was watching. That was the time to do it, and he executed. It was a flawless, essentially, performance for him. But now, Keyshawn Davis, the silver medalist who hasn't won a world title yet, is he ready for Gervonta Tank Davis? 8-Count Boxing TV says his career will surely end prematurely messing with Tank. Tank's way too many tricks up his sleeve. Keyshawn needs to mature in the game just a little bit more. I respect that, 8-Count. I respect that. I could definitely see that, because there's a complete difference between fighting the Gustavo Lemos and Gervonta Tank Davis. I agree. The Tank's been on the stage for a very long time. The top, as in when I mean top, as in pay-per-view. This type of event that Keyshawn kind of had, getting acclimated to that type of main stage. I see what you're going. Shocky Beanit says none of the opponents that Tank fought were ready for him. It's not about that. We want to see the fights we would pay for, and Keyshawn is better than anyone he's faced by far, including Pitbull. Shocky Bennett, he wants it. He wants Davis versus Davis on the marquee. I like it. DB says Tank stops Keyshawn. You ain't DB3, you just DB. So Tank stops Keyshawn. Respect it. Tank's not ready for Keyshawn at this point. Okay. So we got a nice little back and forth. IVS says, hey, dare to be great. You come for the crown. You best not miss, though. I respect that. Hey, bring on, right? Sink or swim, right? Napa says Tank is scared. The only time he took a risk was versus Pedraza. And Keyshawn did fight Pedraza at a different point. Tank fought him at 21 for a world title. I believe he was unbeaten. So you got to give Tank, the more sexier Pedraza one, absolutely, without a doubt. Tank is not ready. He needs a couple more tune-ups. Damn. Tank is a great fighter, but he's 30. He's 30 years old. Who has he beat? Keyshawn's cocky after 12 fights. BT says, let's see it. The best need to fight the best. Keyshawn's a great fighter. I just feel like Tank's going to stop him. He says when they spar, Tank had him fighting differently from how he normally fights a guy who Key just fought. Tank sleeps him in. First round. I don't know. Top. I respect the Tank gets some. But one round, I don't know. When's the last time you seen Tank sleep someone in the first round of a no-name fighter that you know? Come on, man. I think you got to put a little more respect on Keyshawn, man. He showed that he is not a chump in the lightweight division. So, and I'm gonna read one more. I'm gonna read the chat, but I'm gonna formulate. We're gonna cook. Shocky Bennett, who has Tank fought? He's fighting Lamont Roach in December. That's not true. They ain't fighting December. Allegedly originally scheduled, but they're not. They're not fighting December. I would much rather see Keyshawn versus Tank. Now, let me go back to when I covered the fight week, right? I showed up, the press conference, the whole DB3 family. I mean, the brothers, everything. It was cool. You felt like it was home for him. A lot of people came for support, to show out. Norfolk, you can tell, was heavily invested. Anytime you turned on the TV, anywhere in that area, there was something after that press conference that was showing up. They even did the weigh-in. Like, I saw weigh-in footage on local news. That was dope. They were really invested in that area. Over 10,000 people filled that arena out, and you just knew it was going to be like a special homecoming moment. Regardless if the opponent was like a tune-up, trash, good, whatever, you just felt like, all right, he has the backing. Like when Andre goes to Oakland or Terrence goes to Omaha, that's what you want to see. Can you at least get the people in your town to come? And he did that. So without a doubt, regardless if the tickets were $10 to, $50, whatever, I'm sure it wasn't Vegas prices, they were able to sell those. They sold those all type of prices. Great job. Good job, Top Rank. Good job, Keyshawn. Good job, Davis Brothers. Good job, all of it. The stress factor really came down to when Gustavo Lemos came in 6 pounds. And I want to highlight this because I was at the Richardson Hitchens fight. Gustavo Lemos looked great that night. And regardless if it was Richardson Hitchens looking bad or good and fighting a good opponent, I think everyone went in there expecting Richardson Hitchens to do his thing that night, right? Unless you were like a hardcore boxing fan and a nerd and you wanted to dissect like Gustavo Lemos did this to Lee Selby, cool. But that was supposed to be Richardson Hitchens coming out, right? He signs the Matchroom. Eddie Hearn puts him in a position of an IBF eliminator, and Gustavo Lemos made it a fight. A lot of people thought he would have won that fight. He weighed at the 140 limit, right? He agrees to fight to the 135 limit, right? He weighs over 140 in this fight. That means he weighed heavier than he did for Richardson Hitchens. Think about that. He weighed in heavier than his last fight. So he had an advantage, regardless if it was Keyshawn or Richardson Hitchens. Think about that. If he weighed at 141 for Richardson Hitchens and the fight went on, he would have had an advantage in that fight. So he had an advantage in this fight. He didn't. Now, to clarify, Virginia had a 10-pound rehydration, essentially no weight bully clause for everybody on the card. It's a Virginia thing. So it wasn't Keyshawn putting in a rehydration clause, and it was already set for the state. So anytime, and keep this in the back of your head, anytime there's fights in Virginia, everyone on that card has to oblige by that rule. So just keep that 100% in the back of your noggin. That's how they roll, and that's what it is. Gustavo Lemos came in 6 pounds over. They reworked the rehydration and gave him an extra pound, right? They gave Gustavo Lemos an extra pound to essentially not have to weigh at 145 the next morning, because remember, 135, 10 pounds, 145. They gave him 146. What did Gustavo Lemos come in? 144 and some change. So he actually technically made the 10-pound clause. He didn't need the extra pound, right? From that point, he rehydrated 20 pounds. He rehydrated 20 pounds on Keyshawn's biggest night with 10,000 people. And personally, if I was management, I'd be like, look, man, we might need to get a replacement. We might have to get a replacement. I'm going to keep it a buck. I was like, yo, what is going on over there, man? What the fuck is going on? Tank don't want that fight. It's too much of a risk for him. He needs at least 2 or 3 more tune-ups. Tank only fights tune-ups. That's what's crazy. They said Frank was more than ready. So I'm thinking like, yo, why is this fight still going on? But maybe he sees something, right? Maybe Keyshawn, what are you going to do? You're going to like cancel the fight, right? And I had an opportunity to like chat with Terrence Crawford on the side, and I was reminded that when Terrence had his homecoming fight in Omaha, John Molina came in about 4 pounds over the weight limit in his fight. So what happened in that fight? Terrence beat the shit out of John Molina. So I'm assuming Keyshawn thinks he's going to do the same thing. His brothers get it out the way. They all win. Troy Isley, who's really, really good friends with, almost like a brother, wins. So cool. Stress factor. Now he just has to seal the deal. He goes in there and he blasts them out in 2 rounds. I'm sorry. If you can't respect that alone, regardless if you're a Tank supporter or not, if you think Tank's going to win or Tank's going to lose, if you can't respect just that storyline alone, like that right there should make you go, all right, respect. As a fighter, respect. You didn't cancel the fight. The 10,000 tickets, because who knows where these people flew in from. He had the confidence. He believed in himself. He picked his opponent, regardless of the weight. Rehydrated, boom, did everything. Beat him. You got to respect that. You got to respect that. If you're a Tank fan or not, you have to respect that. He put on a show. You had to been entertained. You were watching the fight with some sort of expectation that Gustavo Lemos was going to be somewhere competitive. I don't care what it came to now, that if he got blasted out, people, it's like, oh, he's not. No. Going into the fight, you were thinking this was a test for Keyshawn Davis. And for that alone, you're a hater if you do not think he passed his test for that situation. Now he hasn't won a world championship fight. Things are going to get harder. And I'm not here to say Tank Davis is nowhere near Gustavo Lemos. That's a whole totally different pedigree. So we ain't going to do that either. We can't just say Gustavo Lemos is the bar for Gervonta Tank Davis. That's insane. But we can walk out that fight last night going, what if they fought? And that's where it starts. And that fight alone warranted the respect of the idea that he should be able to now compete at least with one of the champions. And I know Dennis Berinchyk is looking like the bottom of the barrel, right? But he is a champion. And for that alone, Keyshawn is knocking on championship status. And once you become a champion, there's no going back. Unifications, mandatories, big fights. So shout out to Keyshawn Davis. And you just got to respect, man. He handled business. That's for sure. Now, the main topic, right? So we're all in agreement, right? We said Keyshawn doing his thing. He handled business, respect for that. But I don't feel like he should be calling out Tank because I believe he still needs some season. All right, so now we can get into this aspect, right? Because we're all fight fans, right? We're all fight fans. We all recognize that. We respect that. So I just wanted to clarify that he did his thing, and we know, right? Why they not getting Keyshawn the Loma fight or Kambosos the Ukrainian WBO? Well, see, Brandon, I think that's the direction he's gonna go. I think he is gonna go to the WBO because this fight was for the WBO eliminator, right? So how it works is like they take 2 guys and then they determine who the champion has to defend his title next, and that was this fight. Keyshawn passed that requirement, so he should be next in line for the WBO champion. So he should be handling that first. Regardless of Tank, regardless of all that stuff. My boy said, free smoke. Bro, stop bouncing. Man, I got like one of these comfy ass chairs. I'm hyped, man. I'm passionate. I'm sorry, all right? But he definitely needs to go for the WBO first, all right? He has to go for the WBO first, regardless. Go to the next level and fight a champion who's currently defending his title. Do that first. Because Tank arguably could be the best fighter at the lightweight division. You know, you could be a Lomachenko fan, you could be a Shakur fan, you could be a Tank fan. You can respectively respect someone who thinks Tank is the number 1 guy. You can disagree, but if someone has an opinion they think Tank's the best lightweight, that's fair. You gotta go through Dennis. You gotta go through Berinchyk first. Personally, with me, just to get more seasoning, like my guy said earlier. There's different levels, not just skill wise as a fighter, but what it feels like to fight on a big stage. what it feels like to actually fight for a world champion fight. You know, like those type of things, just like how he needed to experience a main event, experience a homecoming, he needs to experience what a world championship fight is first. Like he absolutely needs to go through that route. And he said it first too. He at least has to be a world champion. Like he has to be a world champion. So if Top Rank behind the young bull, Keyshawn's fighting tank, then then why not? I think I'm a little bit confused. Rewrite that, Hood Champ. Free Smoke. Fremont says Lemos had no water in his brain. I mean, look, if you're feeling like his rehydration situation that he agreed to prior to him missing weight, right? I mean, that's cool and all, but why is it the fact that he can make 141 plus change and Keyshawn had to make 135 and they both had to rehydrate identically to, quote, the 145 limit that the state required them to do, and they gave him an extra pound. He didn't. So, and he said he could make the weight. He said he could make the weight. I actually interviewed Gustavo Lemos. I said, look, is this going to be a concern? Like, is this going to be hard? He said no. That I'm actually pretty comfortable. But this is something you might not know, Free Smoke. This is something you might not know. If it's intentional or if he can't, he need to figure out his weight stuff. He can't watch. Y'all got me. Yo, Free Smoke, man. I want the smoke. Gustavo Lemos. Y'all might not even know this. Y'all might not even know this, right? We gonna do this. We gonna do this right. You think this is Gustavo Lemos' first time missing weight by that much? He's actually missed weight worse than this. I want you to know that he missed weight worse than this. Let's see. I don't want to give Lemos no type of cop out. Where are we at? I think there's a bad left hook highlights this. Hold on. We gonna cook. Let's see. 8. Okay, right here. I'm gonna do a little quick screen capture, right? Because I'm not gonna hear this whole he needs to figure out his weight. He needs to figure out his weight. Hold on. Where's my camera at? All right. He needs to figure this out. Lemos would be subject to a heavy financial penalty for missing weight and must weigh in again Friday morning. So this is the Keyshawn thing, right? Boom. Unfortunately, this is not the first time the 28-year-old has missed weight. And Thursday's miss isn't even the biggest Lemos' career. In August 2023, Lemos was the IBF #1 lightweight and was scheduled to take a tune-up fight with Javier Jose Clavero, but weighed in 8 pounds over the limit. 8 pounds over the limit. Moved up at 140 after the fiasco and took part of IBF final eliminator, where he lost a close decision to Richardson Hitchens. Okay, so why would he think, oh, I went up, I went past 8 pounds. So this is the crazy part, Lemos. You need to figure out. He can't even make the 140 limit in that fight. Think about the math. If he weighed 8 pounds over to 135, how the fuck would he made 140? That's 143. He's just I don't care. He to me at this point just comes on the scale how he feels. So I'm not saying he is weight drained and all that. He just comes on the scale how he feels. I ain't never heard 8 pounds, 6 pounds. Let's not do this, Free Smoke. Let's just say, like, Gustavo Lemos, it is what it is, man. He's just not the better fighter, and we just call it a day. He just wasn't the better fighter. He was just not the better fighter. Keyshawn was the better fighter, and he came in with the same BS of being heavier. So, and check this out. Everyone says the rehydration clause. Do you know that when you compete for the IBF, when you actually have to compete for the IBF, you have a 10-pound rehydration clause following that too? So he did a rehydration clause for the Richardson-Hitchens fight. So this ain't his first rehydration situation either. He was in a rehydration situation for the Richardson-Hitchens fight. He was on a rehydration clause based off the title that he was competing for in the last fight. But he looked like a killer when he was on a rehydration clause. He looked like a killer when he was on a rehydration clause. So, and look, I respect your opinion, Free Smoke. I'm just battling smoke. I'm just battling smoke with you. I'm just having fun, right? Bro, I'm just saying, let's not, since Keyshawn like about to do this shit on a regular, Lemos clearly had no punch resistance. I mean, he also didn't have good defense compared to Keyshawn. He didn't have better jabs than Keyshawn. He reached into Keyshawn. Let's just say regardless if there was punch resistance or not, you think that he was going to beat Keyshawn the way that he was lunging in his distance and his desperation attempt? Like, I would respect more that he just wasn't just the better fighter. It didn't matter. You can remove the rehydration clause. Personally, I just don't think Lemos was nowhere near on Keyshawn's level. And that's it. That's all that really just boils down to it. I'm just speaking on the psychological aspect that most management and fighters would just say, screw this fight, go get a replacement. I'm just impressed with the idea that he just stood on business and said, let's go. Because that is scary. Lemos is an elite and he didn't come to fight. I mean, look, if you feel like he didn't come to fight and you just came in with a check, I can't disprove that and I can't prove that, right? I can't. I mean, on the he didn't come to fight. But when it comes that he's not elite, I mean, of course he's not elite. Keyshawn beat him. You get what I'm saying? Like, to be elite, you have to beat other contemporaries. So Keyshawn just continues to rise to a point where he wants to fight for elite status. That's why he wants Gervonta Davis. Okay, we'll get to the Abdullah Mason stuff as well in a second. Now I'll highlight that as well. But Shaki Ben said Frank has no credentials and started boxing at 17. No crazy amateur career. You can't logically compare the two. I mean, I think, and I got a lot of respect and love for Frank, so I'm not here to like bash Frank. It's not. I do feel like there is a difference in experience level when it comes to between the two. So I think Keyshawn's credentials and his ability to turn pro with the style he has makes sense because he's more seasoned in that. But is he seasoned for Tank? I don't know. I will want him to go the path of Baranchik. I will want him to go in the path of maybe defending his title against Raymond Moyataya. You know what I mean? Know how to win a belt from a champion, defend your belt as a champion, maybe fight in Vegas 1 or 2 times, right? Understand what it's like to fight in Vegas because that fight will probably happen in Vegas if it was Davis fighting Davis, right? So, and he has fought in Vegas. Don't get me wrong. He fought on Shakur's undercard on Oscar Valdez. So he has fought there. And he lives in Vegas. He trains in Vegas. But just that atmosphere being the main event in Vegas, right? So I just want him to go into that because I'm going to keep it a buck. Tank ain't the one that you just jump right into. He's just not. And I'm not saying that with Keyshawn's confidence, he's wrong to feel the way, right? And he's supposed to call out the top guys, right? You're not supposed to go backwards. You're supposed to go forward, right? So I respect him for just wanting to smoke, right? That's what you're supposed to do. So at the end of the day, it was a great performance last night. He did a good job, right? You know, Lemos, in some people's eyes, is a lemon, right? In some people's eyes, Lemos was the test to show if you could be invested in Keyshawn Davis. And I think more people are actually invested with Keyshawn Davis after that performance than going, brother, you trash. Like I don't see people talking about that, right? Now, slow your roll on the Tank stuff. Is that how people feeling? I respect that too. You know, like Tank. Sorry, y'all. My camera just turning in and off right now for a sec, but my audio is still going on. I respect that, and for the most part, I do agree that like you should give him some time to marinate the idea of like building up a fight, because you know you got to build yourself up, and he's doing a great job with that. But also you need that experience, and with his short amount of fights and his great amateur background, he's almost at a point where you can actually call him, you know, like one of the elite guys in the division. It just has to be proven, and he has to take a strap from a well-seasoned amateur fighter as well as Dennis Berinchyk, who proved himself against a 3-division champion as Navarrete. So, Keyshawn fighting Tia female. I mean, you know, it's a pecking order thing. Like T was trying to go up and things like that. So, and you know what's interesting about this poll, right? And if you look at it, it has about 100, almost 100 people, right? It's 96 if you want to vote in. 53% says yes, Keyshawn's ready for Tank. That's very impressive. That's very impressive. Because, you know, at the end of the day, reality is that Gervonta has way more experience on a professional level on big stages and championship fights and all that. And Keyshawn's performance last night has entertained the idea that we need a Davis versus Davis at some point. Perfect. And I believe we should continue to talk about Keyshawn Davis versus Gervonta Davis until it happens or it doesn't happen. I don't see why not. We need opponents for Gervonta Tank Davis. A lot of people are not happy with Lamont Roach. They don't like the idea of a guy coming up in weight, which at a point they're both relatively similar size because, you know, Lamont is, you know, Tank was a 130 pounder at once upon a time. So I do feel that a lot of people like the idea of this loudmouth silver medalist who's just having his greatest performance last night, rising up in the rankings, asking for the smoke. That's what fans like. And the fans look like they. So, Tomfa says Keyshawn's still trash. He needs to fight Kid Austin, Mason, or Frank Martin. I mean, if you feel that way, I mean, wouldn't it be also great if, you know, Tank fought? Well, wait. I see what you're saying. You're saying that he needs to fight one of these other guys to kind of get to Tank. I mean, sure. I mean, if that's how you feel. I like the Frank Martin fight better than the Mason and Kid Austin, really. Because, I mean, Abdullah Mason is just an up-and-coming kid. You know, you saw last night. He definitely needs his own developments, right? So let that kid, you know, grow. Kid Austin, I mean, if you want Kid Austin versus Keyshawn, I mean, that'd be an interesting fight. But I think a lot of people might feel Keyshawn Davis would beat Kid Austin. Frank Martin's the perfect fight. I think it really is, because this dude just came off the fact that he just fought Tank. Like, he just fought Tank. So if Keyshawn at a point fights Frank Martin, we got a measuring stick. That's common opponent, things of that nature. So personally, I'm gonna let my camera just rest for like 2 minutes. I don't know why it's tripping or bugging, but I'm gonna just pull up some footage then, because that camera is. We gonna go to FightHype, and I'm gonna put some footage in the background because my camera is tripping. All right, cool. Let me get. If you haven't seen this too, I'll play it. I'll just put it in the background for right now. So, but I like the Frank Martin fight because it gives us a measuring stick, because Tank fought him. And if Keyshawn struggles with Frank Martin, right, then, you know, like, then you kind of see where, I know styles make fights. It kind of gives you a certain level. But what if Keyshawn demolishes Frank Martin? I think that would get the fans a little more entertained for a potential fight in the future with him and Gervonta, right? So there has to be some sort of like developmental growth. And I agree with a lot of people in here who's saying that, hey, he needs to slow down and things like that. I'm not arguing with any of that. Is FightHype similar to a group home? You bugging thinking Key isn't ready. Oh, modern King boxing coming from my throat, coming from my head, boy. You bugging thinking Key isn't ready. I like that. I like that confidence, man. And I'm not saying he isn't ready, right? But that's like, I don't know if you got stairs in your house, right? But I'm gonna ask you a question. Not saying you can't do it, but try to go from the second steps, the second stairs, or the steps on your stairs, and try to get on the 15th one. Just try it. You might get a good solid jump. Maybe even like you don't even have to step on the second steps. Just go back down to the 0 and then do a running start and try to jump on that 15. You could probably do it, but if you don't slowly go up the steps, you might jump up there, barely touch it, fall on your ass, and go all the way back where you came from. So that's, guys done that before, man. Guys have done that. Some people want him just to slowly go up the steps so that he does, when he's on that 15th step, he's prepared to walk on the step and then walk past it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a big supporter of Keyshawn. I've been covering for a long time. I've been covering Gervonta Davis for a very long time. I think his fights are exciting. I'm a big supporter of him. I think he makes fights extremely exciting. And I think this is the beautiful thing about both of those two guys. They make the fights exciting. Last night, if you took Keyshawn's last performance and Tank's last performance, they were exciting. So you got two exciting guys talking shit, giving the fans entertainment outside the ring, right? One's a silver medalist. Can't say a silver medalist ain't good. You know, two different styles, you know, amateur, got to go into the pro. So I'm just here to just promote and hype the fight. I agree. There should be some sort of developmental things. And I think Dennis Berinchyk is the perfect opponent to get a strap from. Defend that against a rising, up-and-coming, you know, maybe Raymond Muay Thai gets the IBF and Lomachenko don't fight him, right? Then he can fight another champion. So there's a lot of opportunities. Keyshawn has a lot of great opponents. And dare I say, does Top Rank give him Lomachenko? Does Top Rank give him Lomachenko? So Keyshawn, he's making a lot of noise. Free Smoke, why are you skipping Andy Cruz? I mean, does that fight make sense to you right now? You want the Andy Cruz and Keyshawn Davis? I mean, I'm cool with it. I like it. Right? I like it. But do you think Andy Cruz amateur style has crossed over in his professional style well enough? I'm just only asking. Because I feel the same way that Andy Cruz, just give him some time to develop his pro style. I think he's a phenomenal amateur guy. He beat Keyshawn multiple times in amateurs. So it's not the fact that he doesn't have the ability to beat Keyshawn. He's beaten Keyshawn multiple times. But pros, they're different. I'm telling you right now, I watched Robeisy Ramirez beat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics just like the rest of the world did on television. And then when Robeisy came to America, I watched Robeisy pro debut with my own eyes. Gold medalist, beat Shakur Stevenson, made him cry. He lost his first fight. He got dropped and lost his first fight. The gold medalist that beat Shakur Stevenson and made him cry lost his first fight and got dropped. They're two different sports. Like professional and amateurs are totally different. Errol Spence never won a medal. Went to the Olympics, didn't win anything. It was unified, had 3 straps. He was breaking people's eye sockets and ripping eyeballs out. So I just believe that Andy Cruz is an amazing fighter that just needs maybe just a little bit of time to just understand how to be an amazing pro fighter that I think he can. And that's kind of where I feel with Keyshawn. Keyshawn is ahead of him in this department of the professionals. And they will have to meet. And they should meet. But I think that Keyshawn's in a spot where he's going to fight a Dennis Berinchyk, while Andy Cruz is going to get to the position where Keyshawn's at now. Then Keyshawn will be defending his title, right? I don't know if you guys are UFC fans, right? Exactly, Keyshawn fans are just Tank haters. No, I mean, I don't think so. I think a lot of people probably think Tank would probably win the fight because he should, right? Like, he's the proven guy. But a lot of people want this fight, and that's what it comes down to. It. People want this fight. So we should entertain the idea of it. Maybe not next, but we need to entertain it. And so ultimately, my comparison to the Andy Cruz and Keyshawn, I don't know if you guys watch UFC, Israel Adesanya was a guy that lost to Alex Pereira in kickboxing, a whole different spectrum, another sport, right? Okay, that's fine, Rafael, no UFC for me. I'll make it quick, right? It's a boxing stream. I'm just going to knock it out. Israel Adesanya was a kickboxer that lost to this guy named Alex Pereira multiple times in kickboxing, right? Even got stopped by him. Then from that point, he went pro. Alex Pereira went into the UFC, right? Izzy was the motherfucking man, yada, yada, all that stuff. He was proven. Alex Pereira came in. This is what y'all thinking. He can maybe be like Alex Pereira. Andy Cruz can come in. I'll beat you in kickboxing twice, and I'm going to cook you in this other spot. And he actually beat Izzy. They did the rematch. Izzy beat him. So it could work just like that. It could work like that. But as quick as it worked that way, it also worked the other way. And Izzy knocked him out. So I like the storyline. I love the storyline. Keyshawn Davis has a lot of opponents. And a lot of other opponents have a lot of opportunity for Keyshawn. The division is exciting because we got guys like Abdullah Mason entering the division. With the division exciting because we got guys like Kid Austin entering the division. These two guys are coming in the division. They're very offensive minded. They put their defense to the side a little bit to make sure that they can execute exciting performances. And because of it, they both got dropped. You saw Kid Austin last Saturday. We just saw Abdullah just get dropped on a Hagler Hearns performance, right? So there's a lot of new guys coming in the division. And Andy Cruz is another one, like we said. We were just talking highly about. So at the end of the day, like these guys are all going to have to fight each other. And they're all going to have great performances. And then they're also going to have subpar performances. I remember when Keyshawn Davis fought Nair Albright. He was not happy in that fight, right? He got caught with a good shot. Like, a lot of people didn't think the Keyshawn in that fight would have been the Keyshawn of this, right? But he was developed into this position. You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure that all these guys go into the right proper position of just getting to a certain point. Tank is the mountaintop. He's the guy that's setting the example. He's the guy. Lomachenko is another guy in the division that's setting an example. What we already know, Lomachenko is already kind of like at the very tail end of his career. If anything, Lomachenko might be the one that sets the example for this division, really. He's the one. But Tank is the guy who's beating Ryan Garcia, rehydration clause, or whatever the case is. You know, like Tank, Loma, Shakur just entered the division, and they're boys. They ain't going to fight each other. It's deeper than boxing. But it's just an exciting time. And personally, I think that the idea of just even saying, is Keyshawn ready for Tank? And 120 people voted just in this little quick, small, fast stream. And 52% says, yes, that's great. We got another opponent for Tank. That's what we want, right? Shocky Ben says the name of the game is hit and not get hit, not fight in the middle of the ring. School of Skills. Shakur banged with a couple fighters. He was banging in his last fight. I mean, he was trying to get Artem out of there, right? Artem was a bronze medalist that had a great fight with Frank Martin. So, yeah, I mean, and then we still got like Frank Martin. We got De Los Santos, right? I heard someone say Keyshawn should fight De Los Santos. I mean, De Los Santos is a great fighter too. Even though he lost to Shakur, he beat Rayo Venezuela. And who is Rayo Venezuela? He's just not the 140-pound champion, right? So these guys all going to fight each other and prove, but they're all like, as in right now, they haven't separated themselves like super far, right? I think Lomachenko might be the one that's fought the more of the lightweights. And then Tank has fought, up to 140 and moved up and around. But people aren't satisfied with Tank. They're critical about him. They feel like he should have been fighting Tio. He should have been fighting Loma. He should have been fighting Devin Haney, right? We did get the Ryan Garcia, and he did beat, or I don't want to open that camera. He didn't beat Devin. He failed his test, and then they took it away. So, and as you should, right? But at the end of the day, Lomachenko is the one that actually fought most of those guys. And they felt that Tank should have been the guy doing that. So there's criticism. They want him to fight people around his age, around this weight. And Keyshawn Davis is just another face, another name that's probably going to get a strap. And once you get a strap and you got a strap, they want you to unify. So Keyshawn should get that strap. Because I promise you, if Keyshawn gets that strap, you cannot deny a champion fighting a champion. That just makes no sense to me. He's not a champion right now. I got it. Gustavo Lemos is not Gervonta Tank Davis by far. So you can't just go to Gustavo Lemos straight into Tank. But we see it time and time again. Guys like Tio's like, give me Lomachenko. Boom. Donaire comes up. Darchinian. Boom. Didn't expect that. Rung Versailles. Chocolatito. Boom. Right? So we see these things time and time again. So if it happens, it happens. But Keyshawn's making a lot of noise. And that was an amazing, fun night. I got to talk to Pusha T. Pusha T was in the building. Mike Vick was in the building. Like, what Tank needs is dance partners. And dance partners that can actually bring some sort of cachet. If you bring something to the table, then you have a better chance of getting in a fight with Tank, right? Because if Tank is coming to the table with, like, a gourmet meal. He got the sides, he got the main dishes, he got the dessert, he got the snacks, he even got the drinks. He even came with the soda pops and the juices, the water, and all you brought to the table was some napkins. So you think we should eat together, right? So I think Keyshawn Davis right now is doing an amazing job of bringing more to the table. He went from a couple cups and napkins to now the dude that's bringing some bag of chips, and the dip, maybe like 2 6-packs of beer to the barbecue, right? Like he's starting to bring more stuff to that dinner table. And if you can match like meal for meal, and you can feed everyone around you, and Tank can feed everyone around you, come together, it's going to be a feast. And that's what Keyshawn is doing. He is bringing more to the table slowly but surely, because when you can't do that, it's just a payday. Tank just out here feeding people. Like, yeah, he's just feeding the homeless essentially, right? You just feeding. And that's not what I think Keyshawn's doing. I think he wants to bring on good fights. I think he wants to entertain. I think he wants to make big fights on his own alone. And that when the time is right for a major fight, I think if he continues that path, I don't see why not. They shouldn't fight each other. So, ultimately, the Abdullah Mason thing, I just wanted to say, actually, let me just read some of y'all chat, because I want you guys still engaged in here. Jose Sr. guided Ryo to the top and got kicked to the curb. Yeah, that's I don't know what's going on there. We haven't got to talk to Ryo, so I don't want to just steer one side. So, everyone wants to call Tank a duck, but Branchett called out Shakur and Gary Russell slapped butt, and he ain't got no straightening. I don't know. Tank isn't doing that fight pipe dreams. And remember, that's cross promotion. They in the business of helping each other out too. So, that's why I say you gotta bring something to the table. I think we should stop saying he's not ready. Tank would knock him out. That's why we're not getting any fights we want. Put pressure on these boys. yeah, I mean, the fans want him and stuff like that. So, Modern King, $2 super chat. My guy, appreciate the love. Quack, quack, Aflac, Abdul, SMH. What do you mean by that, man? What do you mean, quack, quack, Aflac, Abdul? Because I think quack, quack, like a duck. You saying Abdullah's ducking something? Or someone's ducking Abdullah? I'll say this, though, man. I lost my mind when those two guys were dropping each other back and forth. Oh, my God. That Scope Arena exploded. It went crazy after the first knockdown. The second one was just ear deafening. The third one just almost shattered the place. And, in the fourth one, it sealed the deal. But that round was bananas. That was bananas. I can't even tell you the last time I seen a fight like that. That was one thing I do like about Abdullah, because I know everyone's going to say Abdullah does not have a chin, right? It's boxing. People get dropped and hurt and hit all the time. My answer is, what do you do if you meet adversity, right? And so he got caught with a good shot on the chin. He went down. Then when he got up, he ate another shot. His whole head went boom. And while he was going back, so he got hit, dropped, got up, went back, ate a hook, sent his whole back. He saw his legs. I mean, he went back and he was a little going backwards. Sent that guy to another dimension. Now he fell. He hurt his leg. Oh, the guy hurt his leg. Oh, but hey, that's part of Abdullah. Abdullah's the reason why his legs stopped working as well, because he hit him to another dimension. He sent him to the shadow realms. But he got up, and guess what he did? While his legs was all a little fucked up, boom, hit Abdullah down. So, man, just run that back. Run the fade back. I would love that rematch, right? I think that would be a great rematch. I think that would be great for Abdullah to show, like, some of the stuff he works on. I think the fans would love to see him come back to his opponent. And really, ultimately, at the end of the day, it would have been nice if the guy's leg wasn't like that. But you got to remember, Abdullah's the reason why his leg was like that. Like, that was crazy. So 20-year-old kid, just like Kid Austin and like Keyshawn, all these guys come in their own path, doing their own mistakes, and they have to fix them. And I think Abdullah can. I think Abdullah can. I like to see consistency before I can start criticizing. If this is a habit that you do, then we're gonna have to talk. But it's part of coming up as a young fighter. So, but I'll tell you this, that's wild, man. Yo, what's up, Southpaw TV? What's up, my guy? Hey, man, keep grinding, man. Look, I know everyone in boxing has their own opinion, right? And you're entitled to that. So, my bad, my camera went out. So, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And the beautiful thing about the sport of boxing is that if they have their opinion on who they think is going to win, and you have an opinion on who you think is going to win, well, then that's the beautiful thing. So your guy got to go ahead and beat his guy. So, and you already know East Team Tank all the way. So if you feel that your guy is better than Tank, he's going to ride with his guy all the way. So, he's a firm believer on it. He does great breakdowns, I've actually took a chance and peeped some of his lives before, and he actually does really good fight analysis breaks down. It's almost like a really intricate technical breakdown. So, I don't think you get credit for that, Southpaw. I think you do a really good job of breaking down fights, and just keep grinding, man. Keep grinding, man. Always appreciate coming and showing support, man. So I support people that support me. So keep on doing your thing, man. Alex116 is obviously a payday he wants, or else he would have called out all the champs. I mean, the Shakur and Keyshawn thing, I mean, yes, I get, they're friends, and it's the unfortunate thing about guys who have bonds bigger than boxing, right? So really, personally, in my mind, it's just got to remove it. That fight's just not going to happen. So, the Lomachenko fight. $5 super chat. Southpaw TV jumps in. Is Keyshawn ready? Yes. Can he beat him? No. I respect your takes, bro. Tank over everybody. Yo, I respect that 100%, and that's what I want to give you credit for too. Like, a lot of people do feel like Keyshawn is ready to take on a fight with Tank. He's a silver medalist. You know what I mean? Like, he looks great. He has an amazing camp behind him. He has Bomac, Red, Esau. He has the trainer of the years, the architects behind Terrence Crawford that had him become a 4-division world champion. He has a solid base team. So does Tank. Tank has Coach Calvin, Kenny Ellis. It's a great fight, you know? And Tank, I feel like Tank don't get enough credit in his approach when he comes into a fight. He's a thinker. He's athletic. He reads patterns. He's methodical when he breaks down fighters, and he even downloads fighters. Fighters that take time, like they always talk about, like Floyd and Crawford being like slow starters and stuff. Well, Tank comes in that same type of fashion. He breaks fighters down. He kind of looks at them. He takes a peep, and at a certain point, really, he does the same thing. After 3-4 rounds, he starts to turn it up. So Tank doesn't get enough credit for his IQ. I think because Keyshawn hasn't been into like big marquee fights yet, you know, there is a big separation because I think Tank is by far a lot more proven. But I think over time, Keyshawn will prove himself. And if he does, that would be a great fight, and let the best man win. That's it. So I really appreciate the support, man. Keep doing your thing. Carl Braun says, yeah, you really be keeping it real, bro. Keep up the good work. Yep. Keep it up, man. Appreciate the support as always. School of Skills, Keyshawn will make weight, then hydrate 20 pounds over Tank and bank him to a loss. You know what, to be honest, and then bang him to a loss? I don't know what that means. Abel says fight happens 5 years too late. I don't know, man. I really think like Tank in the next like couple years, he's gonna go into this hit list of fighting all these guys, man. Like, look, I really need you guys to understand the whole dinner analogy. You got to bring something to the table, and if you don't bring something to the table, right, and you're in a way where, like, I'll use Devin for example, right, and this is in like an honest take, in my personal opinion, my honest take, right. Devin has the hardware. Devin has fought marquee names. Devin has done a lot of things, right? But at the same time, you're a cross promotion, right? You're not in the same house, right? So now you're essentially saying, hey, let's break bread together. I know you guys don't want to hear it. It's not the ideal world of boxing as a boxing fan. You just want the best to fight the best, right? I agree. I'm a diehard fan. I wish people just fought on the equity of just how boxing works, right? But it don't. So I got to be speaking reality too. When you also try to make fights, disrespect or sometimes talking trash doesn't warrant you fights. Teal's being extremely disrespectful by saying certain things, and I get it. It's boxing. It's Wild Wild West. If you want to shut him up, beat his ass. That's what you gotta do. But you also understand the guys are in a position to create big fights with multiple people, and you're one of them, and you come off and say certain wild stuff. Why would I want to break bread with you? That's just really what it is. Why would I want to break bread with you? I mean, it makes no sense that I should go out my way and do that. That's just boxing business. So, to a degree, the Haneys aren't going to get the fights with Tank because at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of level of like promotion and building up and also respect. And I don't know, you know, that's my own take, right? I could be wrong, but you know, you can't always just get your fights by just being completely wild and whatnot. So, yeah, I just went on a long tangent somewhere that I just lost my brain. All right. Look, it's 6 o'clock. I wanted to make a short stream. I didn't want to be here for too long because I know the boots and stuff like that is going on. So, I mean, really, Boots need to like do something. Like, this is my thought right before I end this live. Boots need to do something to this Karen fight because, you know, he needs to take control of his career. I think he's a phenomenal talent. I've seen him do really crazy stuff. But at a point of just trying to make these big fights happen, you got to knock this guy out. You got to do something. You're in a division of fighters that you might not be able to get the fight with. You got to make a statement, and you got to make a decision on where you need to do and where you got to go to make certain fights. The 147 undisputed idea sounds like a dream at this point, because it's really point luck, point opportunity, and just positioning. You know, not everyone could be undisputed just because you're just fighting all these guys. Sometimes you have to be with the right promoter at the right time with the right alignment. Like Devin got to fight Kambosos and become undisputed. That's the right time, right everything, right? So just beat Kieran and go to 154. I'm going to say it. Like Rafael says, Boot needs to move up to 154. Go to 154. Ain't nothing there in 147 that can help you. Ain't nothing in 147 that's going to help you. So go 154. Oh, Rafael says, okay, my bad. Okay, Ranji, tell me what Roach brings to the table. Roach needs to focus on 130. Shame with Tank for bringing another 130 pounder up in 130. All right. This is what Roach brings, right, to Tank. Roach is actually, like everyone always says, Roach is actually a respectful opponent. They fought in the background. I mean, in their amateur background. Yep, I got all that. What Roach brings is an alignment to the same promotional company. So when you have your same promotional company, you can kind of negotiate a lot more comfortable. That's the first thing. He brings an easier way to negotiate a fight. The second thing Roach does is he does bring respect. He brings a lot of respect to Tank. He's definitely a guy who is complimentary of Tank. He's just competitive, right? And three, I think they're generally actually somewhat friends. Not like Keyshawn and Shakur friends, like actually like, you know, like tight knit, like family, like brother, like friends, but they have like a brotherly boxing friendship, right? Like I'll fight you for money, but I respect you, and you my guy, like you know what I mean? Like that's so, and really Tank could just kind of fight a lot of people and just make a lot of money, you know, and Roach probably also brings a reasonable a reasonable demand, right? If you're negotiating with someone, like let's say like you're starting a business and someone's like, look, I'll do all this work with you, just give me 5%. And then someone comes up and is like, look, I'll work with the business with you, but we got to be 50-50, and I got to see all the equity books, and I'm the one that cuts you the check. I'm the one that has to cut the equity check to you, not you cutting it to me. So I'm actually going to, like, then it might be like, yo, bro, this is a little too much. Like, I just wanted to bring you on my business, and we kind of work something out, and you kind of want to hook you up. We can do some business, but if you want to control, like, you want this and that, and it's like, I need my name first, and I need that, like, then it's like, bro, this is too much. I could just go work with this guy, and it's a lot easier. That's what Roach brings, an easier time to negotiate. And that's how boxing works. That's just how boxing works. That's just the reality of the sport of business. It's not the ideal situation to fight fans, the best fight and the best. But really, at the end of the day, like, that's the reality of how it works. I'm not feeling that negotiating BS, your opinion, I respect it, but that's why those fights happen. Like, you're like, what did that guy bring? He brought an easier negotiation process. Do you know how much of a headache it would be for Tank to negotiate what Devin or Shakur or certain other fighters? There's a lot more that they feel entitled, and they should, they should. Like, they're bringing stuff to the table. That's how they feel. So they want more out of it. So that's what happens. And you get a guy who doesn't bring anything. They're pretty much like, cool, we just fight, and I'm cool with all the stuff. We just go. I'm cool. I'm getting a couple million. Respect. You get a lot of the pay. I ain't even tripping. And then the fight gets made and it's done. It really does come down to all about money. Alex, it's all about money though. That's what makes it different from UFC. I agree. So I can speak from a fan perspective for so long until the reality comes out. So that's just really what it comes down. But like I said, quick stream. I could be on here all day. I want you guys to take a break, relax. I'm going to be doing a round by round for the boots, and bam, if you care. You know, it's not the card of like yesterday, but at the end of the day, I'll be doing it for y'all. Just come in, kick it, we'll react, and peace out. Hey, really, at the end of the day, I really appreciate you guys all just coming in on a short stream. So, shout out Tonfa. The rehydration drains them. That's why he does need it. Frank Martin would beat Keyshawn. The big punch. What's up? Facts would be easier to fight and make for sure. And that's just what it comes down to it, man. Shout out School of Skills, Carl Brown, Raphael, Abel, Southpaw, Modern King Boxing. I think I said Raphael already. Shockey Bennett, JJ. A lot of y'all, man. We're going to be doing a lot more of these lives, so I really appreciate you guys. Yep, see you guys in a minute, man. I think the undercard prelims are going on, so I'm going to throw that in the background. I'm going to do some stuff and take care of my son for a little bit. I haven't seen him for the last couple of days because of the fight, so I'm going to give him some quality time, be a good dad, and then I'll be back once he's asleep. So, guys, peace out. See you later.